Sorry, I ruined that with my cough. It's the Cool Nerd Weed Show. That's TS.
And that's Sasha.
And whatever we're smoking just made me cough and ruin our intro, and I apologize for that. You know, it's part of the charm, I guess.
That was the Wonder Bread Orange Banana.
I really like that.
That was delicious.
It's really good. It's the Cool Nerd Weed Show. Thank you for hanging out with us. We're live on the Cool Nerd Weed Show. Again, another week without a hitch. It's just been a while since, because we've been so, you know, what with a little gem called COVID-19. We've been all over the place. And it's just nice to have, it's nice to have the technology, you know, like the Bionic Man. It's good. It's good to be able to do this. Follow us on Twitter at Cool Nerd Weed and everywhere else at Cool Nerd Weed Show. We are all over the internet. We were supposed to do a Patreon thing. Oh, wait. Didn't you want to do a Patreon thing? I think we're on Patreon.
Oh, yeah. We are on Patreon, Cool Nerd Weed Show. We were going to post a video, but we didn't.
Forgot.
So there's nothing on our Patreon for you to Patreonize.
No, but there is a lot of Instagram videos and also YouTube's. Just search Cool Nerd Weed Show, right? And we're up in there. TS has been feverishly editing, just Martin Scorsese, all the shows. And our Huff and Puffs as well. We do a lot of content. It's like our thing.
Each one gets better and better.
We cooked today on our Instagram.
Pre-show meal.
Yeah, is scramble.
That's delicious. Mine's gone.
Is it? It was good.
Yeah.
It was good. It was like Violife cheese that I hadn't tried yet.
The vegan cheese.
Very pleasantly surprised.
That actually melted.
It did melt.
And tastes like cheese.
Some Morningstar sausages. They're pretty good. They're pretty good.
They're
you don't want to eat a sausage.
They're a little sausagey, but they're good. They're good.
No, they're good.
I like them.
I don't know why today I was like talking shit about Morningstar. I love them. They're great. You do the Lord's work, Morningstar. And the Violife cheese I was really excited about. Regular ass eggs. I don't know why we made like all of this conscious effort to be vegan everywhere else, and we use like straight up dairy. Like from chickens. They're organic.
They're organic.
We don't
free
need
range,
anything else. Free
all
range.
the good stuff. They taste better.
Listen, it's better for it to be that way in eggs or something. Even as I've been pescatarian for about 10 years, and eggs are something that I've never sacrificed. I've always ate eggs.
The controversial egg.
Yeah, I don't know what you consider it. It comes from an animal, so if that's your thing, for me, it was always how it makes me feel, and meat makes me feel like butt cracks. So I try to limit my meat intake. Because if I feel like butt cracks, it probably means something bad's going on inside.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
So that's just my take on it. Whatever yours is, I can appreciate that. We should probably limit our meat intake in the world because it's killing the environment also. So,
True story.
Literal food for thought. We like to cook, and we'll probably be doing that a lot. So if you want to see anything be made, let us know.
You have any
we
recipes?
Some ideas. Yeah, it doesn't have to be all veggie. I don't eat meat, but I will taste it, and TS will eat it every so often.
Yeah, send us all your favorite, your stoniest of stony recipes.
Yeah, we infused the eggs with...
I forgot about that.
Let me know if it kicks in or anything, because we infused it with canna butter that I had gotten a while ago from like a delivery service out here in the California and HMJ, and it was like 2,000 milligrams per tub. We probably only used like 20 milligrams today.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good amount.
Yeah.
You don't want to overdose us.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, putting it under heat. We didn't really heat. It wasn't boiling.
No,
hot,
I think that's the concept of you're going to ruin your can of butter by heating it up is overstated.
It is. It's a little.
It's
We haven't tried our Jello shots yet. We do have to try the Pure Wana Jello shots.
I formulated the Pure Wana Jello shot, so I've got it. I've got it down. I'll get out my laser thermometer and make it happen. No chance of losing the structural integrity of any THC molecules.
No.
None.
No, you don't want to. Who wants that? And I took a 50 milligram. What do you call it?
Absolute extract.
Yeah.
a beautiful product.
Yeah, no, I love it.
The
I love it.
ABX.
I took the 50 milligram. I've been doing that since you brought them to me. And I've been using the Focus. Yeah.
You tried the Focus? Yeah, I tried
the Focus. Those are great.
I've been on Relax.
Yeah.
The Relax formula.
Yeah.
It's a nice formula.
And
super chill.
The Rest.
Oh, and the Rest.
Rest.
Okay.
I've been taking this before bed, and it's actually quite lovely.
Tincture.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually quite nice.
Yeah. Is that the one with CBN in it?
I believe that it is.
Or is it CBD?
There's CBN. It's
Absolute started making various
there's
ratios.
CBDA, which I don't know what CBDA is. Do you?
It's another CBD.
Thank you. I figured that. I don't know where to begin. It has 7.5 milligrams of THC, 25 milligrams of CBD, which is like a lot of CBD.
Yes,
and
very relaxing.
CBDA 5 milligrams.
Okay.
And CBN 2.5 milligrams. So CBN is like the elixir of the world.
Just a little touch of CBN.
That's enough for me.
I mean,
5 milligrams of CBN is enough for me. That's not a compound that I ingest a lot. So I don't have any tolerance, and you're not really supposed to because it's supposed to put you to sleep. So
I think
does
that
knock
just
you out.
that little touch of CBN is good with the CBD and CBDA.
And there's a lot of CBD in there, so there's a lot of shit for it to bind with. It's really good.
It's a nice little
good science.
Cannabinoid cocktail right there.
It is. All of these seem like they are. Like all of the Care by Design blends seem like they're pretty cool. I don't know if these are like out at your local shop. Are they?
They are.
Okay, cool.
They are.
Is this expensive?
I
would reckon it is. I mean, it has a shit ton of CBD in it.
It's up there with the price of their
and it's
regular
got a lot
THC
of THC.
capsules.
It's got 112 milligrams of this whole thing.
They're sort of comparable in the market for what you're getting. With Pop and Barkley
Pop and Barkley is expensive. I mean, it's awesome. Like, it's a great product, but it's very expensive. Like,
whole plant extracts.
It's an amazing. It costs money to make really good weed. That's like what we've been saying. We'll talk about this in our show. Oh, we're doing a show. We'll talk about.
Yeah. What are we doing here?
We'll talk about this. I was talking to like one of my radio homies a few weeks ago, and we were talking about just like random radio stuff, and I was like, well, we use these awesome Rode mics, and he was like, no, the sound quality of you guys is awesome. And he like didn't say anything else. And I was like, yeah, we're awesome. I was like, it is, but I always say if you don't smoke weed, you can still hang out with us on the Cool Nerd Weed Show.
Yeah, why not?
I think we're fun to hang out with.
It's a fun ride.
That's what this is. It's hanging out with your weed nerds that just like to talk about weed for like their whole entire that person who you're just like we're like Bitcoin or like we're like cryptocurrency but with weed. Like that's us. Which may not be for everybody, but but for the people that it is, we love you. And you never know. Maybe your auntie who's never smoked weed but is curious about it for her dog. She is welcome.
All are welcome.
All are welcome. That's the good part of the Cool Nerd Weed Show. Is we nerd out about weed, but we're not like an exclusive club.
No.
That's a good part about dispensaries. You can just go now. Check it out.
Anybody.
Look at it.
21 and over.
Just
go
look
on
at it
in.
and leave. You can window shop. You can price check without going through the whole rigmarole.
I had a dude that said he hadn't smoked since the 60s, and then he said, can I get something nice that I can just pass around with some old dudes who haven't smoked since the 60s? I'm
my God, yes. Yes, a million times yes.
I'm like, I got you, dude. Just show me your ID, please. And he's like, oh, I don't want to be in any system.
Fair enough.
And then he left.
Tale as old as time.
I'm like, you're probably retired, dude. There's no system,
for God's
man.
Sakes. Well, a lot of people, and I used to say this, like, this is what I used to say. I used to be like, are you part of a ShopRite's shopper club? Or are you part, did you, they don't have ShopRite out here, or Vons. Did you join the Vons club? If you scan your Ralph's card, likely you signed up for it. I know you mailed it in. I know you got the card in the mail, you old timer. If you did that, you're in a system.
You're on the system.
But some people a lot of people actually. I had to stop saying that because like a lot of people were like, "No, I don't do any of that," and I'm like, "All right, well, I guess then you're not. We're at an odds here." Well, that's a part of it all being like more. You're gonna have to. That's not gonna change. We're not gonna stop asking for IDs. That's like, it's only gonna continue that sort of thing. If you want to smoke weed on the legal market, you're gonna have to show your ID. It's just.
Oh yeah,
what it
absolutely.
Is. You're lucky. It's not what it used to be. I mean, it used to be a lot, like with the fucking recommendations and the things and all the things. We had to give you like an entire booklet to sign every time. I would have to reprint that booklet like every 2 months and explain to everybody why I was doing it.
There's like 4 or 5 pages in some of these dispensaries.
Insane. You used to require full signatures. Then it became a fucking initial system. Then it became digital. Then it was not. Every time somebody came in, I would have to make them sign that shit again. They would get so mad. But it was like if
every time we changed
I just
systems.
did this, and I'm like, yeah, I know it's like not my choice. Do I want to sit here and do this with you? Absolutely, I don't. But I have to. It's like because if the fucking if the law came and was like, where are your records? It was so fluid back then. You could have gotten burned for anything. So. And nowadays, it's even with regulation, it's even more insane. But there's way more. There's better systems in place. I would hope. I would.
The system, yeah.
I mean, you're in it.
It's easy. You just show your ID. We take a picture of it.
Which is
scan everything in.
God
it's
Almighty!
Easy.
I'm almost like back. In my day, I fucking walked up the hill in the summer in the snow because I used to have to make. I had to make fucking. What's his name? Robot Chicken. Seth.
Seth Green.
He would come in, and he came in once, and I needed to make him sign in again. So he had to go to the other computer that we had for the fucking forms. For some reason, we had another computer at our dispensary that we worked at.
We had like a gateway computer.
And he was like, "But I'm a member," and I was like, "No, you renewed your rec. You got to go over there.
Gotta do it again."
And like he was sitting there, and like our big boss came in and he was just like, hey, like saying hi, and he said hi to him, and he was like, I have to re-sign up, and he was like, oh, what do you gotta do? Like, we can't do anything. It's
what you gotta do.
And weed is so we just have to follow the rules. We don't want to fuck it up, so don't fuck it up. And if you don't want to be in a system, you're not getting legal weed. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I would like to help you out, but we cannot.
Okay, so. Yeah, well, I guess things like being more in the mainstream, I don't know. Again, if things are more in the mainstream, you're still going to have to show your ID. And this is like kind of like proof of that. So the details of the weed legalization bill are like kind of out there now. That Chuck Schumer, we were talking about this last week, or was it last week? Like a little bit.
We talk about it like
we talk about it every week, but we were talking about this particular Chuckie Shumes.
Yeah, I think last week.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it was last week. And yeah, if we talk about it every week, but this is it. This is the first draft of the Senate bill. It's out there in the ether. We're gonna just kind of break it down a little bit. We're also gonna go into more detail on the taxes for the Huff and Puff because it's like annoying. It's all annoying. Cory Booker has been like up in the forefront of all of this because he was a part of a big situation in New Jersey where he noticed that there's a lot of insane things happening around weed. So he is trying to get this passed in a way that is not insane. And yeah,
it's the Cannabis Administration and Opportunity Act.
Cannabis Administration and Opportunity Act.
It's like
it's a lot of words.
It is. It's the next version of the MORE Act. Senate Chuckie Schumer and
Chuckie Shumes. Financial
Committee Chairman Ron Wyden of Oregon, and Cory Booker have all sponsored this. They want to make things happen. Like New York and New Jersey, and Oregon already, they're on board. So they're like, let's get this federal deal handled. Obviously, we know that the war on drugs has failed. But what's the Fed? What's it going to take to actually legalize, decriminalize, reschedule, etc. federally?
Seems like it's going to be a lot.
It's going to be a lot, and the nuts and bolts of it. Some of it's good, some of it's bad.
Okay, well, what's good?
What's good?
The social equity.
Social equity programs are the best part of cannabis legalization.
Right. Yeah.
So, that would, create money for people that have been impacted by the war on drugs, people in low-income communities, communities of color, anybody that's been impacted. You're going to have some opportunity. First of all, you should be released from fucking prison immediately if you're still there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Second, if you want an opportunity to actually work in the cannabis industry, you should be given priority.
And this should count down the line. Like if you have like marijuana possession on top of your B&E, okay, whatever. But that should at least be expunged from your record. And if you have 2 marijuana charges that are just weed charges, those should be gone. You know what I mean? Because for a while it was just 1 or 2 dings with weed that put you in jail. So some people really, they were fucked. So it should be all of the weed things. Those should be gone, erased from time. They never existed. I don't know if that's going to be a thing or if it'll just be really slow, but I think that's the goal for social equity, which is good. And hopefully the fact that it's even talked about, I guess, is good. And then there's grants. So there's like some nonprofit stuff that it can be done through this. So it's small businesses in the weed industry. It's people who want to do startups. It's especially from the social equity programs. It's people who, this to me is a pipe dream because I saw what happened in California and it was the opposite of this. But if that's what they're saying, then sure. Fine. If that's what you're gonna do, then yes, get all my friends who were farmers or who have done small businesses and who were displaced through Prop 64, get them back in the biz. Get them doing the damn thing through your federal work, your federal God's work. Sure. If you can license a grant to the homies who have been struggling, who have been out of work, who have really struggled to put their licenses through, and they can file for a grant, that would be awesome.
Give people opportunities to come up and better themselves.
We have not seen that really here locally. So
we have not just yet.
Maybe it's starting. It's starting. We can kind of see it better a little bit.
If this passes, it would require the Attorney General to remove cannabis from the Controlled Substance Act within 60 days of the bill's enactment. And it still would need to move through Congress as well, but it would not necessarily make cannabis legal in every state. Each state would preserve the right of each state to maintain prohibition if they want to. It also stipulates that shipping cannabis into states where the plant is prohibited would still be federally illegal. So let's say you had a surplus in Oregon, which they have a surplus in Oregon. I've talked to a lot of people coming through recently, the touristas, and they're like, oh, I can get a joint for $2. I'm like,
is it good weed though?
I mean, I don't know. I'd have to see it for myself because everybody throws the words top shelf around. It's like a top shelf $2 joint. I don't really believe it.
Yeah, and I've never gotten any. I've never smoked Oregon weed. So I guess I can't really say.
There's like the southern part of Oregon that's really, you can outdoors. It's like one of the perfect climates.
Yeah, I mean some of the best companies are out there.
But I don't know. California's got the best climate for cannabis.
Well, it's the Pacific
for sure.
Northwest, I guess. So Oregon can kind of benefit from that.
But
yeah, the southern. Yeah.
But it would create possible interstate commerce. So let's say you had, maybe your shipment from Oregon, you'd have to drive through, go the long way through the legal states to get your surplus out. So it would create interstate commerce, but there's still some issues transporting. If you have to go through, you can't go through a state where prohibition is still in place. So that's a little sticky.
And the bill, I guess we'll talk about this during taxes, but the bill doesn't go into banking, which is kind of a big deal. So it does remove penalties that financial institutions would face, but there's no cannabis is just regular fucking commerce, and it doesn't matter if you are a banking institution associated with a company that has cannabis because it is not normal yet. So I don't know what that means for banking in the future. I would assume there's going to be like a big bank, like fucking, Chase that's going to be like, we're going to be the leading, bank that works with fucking Canada. I bet there's going to be a random giant corporation
is just
of banks that's going to be like, cool.
It's on. We don't care.
They're just waiting for like that 1 minute. They're just waiting for this. They're just waiting for this, where they can just be like, we're not facing a penalty. Cool, we'll be the ones.
We're in immediately.
Yeah, which is, I guess, neither here nor there. Like, I want that to be a thing, but also banks are evil. So I don't know. But also they're what you have to do to deal legal tender. So, like it is the life we live. Federal studies, I guess, are going to be a thing. There's
like consumer rights.
Right, consumer rights, which I don't really know what that means.
People, you cannot be denied federal benefits due to use or possession of cannabis, or for conviction of a cannabis offense.
Well, I did just learn a pretty major electric company in the East Coast just started allowing their employees to use. They're not testing anymore. It
says it actually includes preventing revocation of security clearance for federal employees. So that's huge. They're doing.
I think a lot of big companies are now telling their employees that they're not testing anymore. So I think a lot of big federally or state-run companies are seeing what's coming down the pipeline, and they're just like, all right, do your damn thing. Just
taking cannabis off the books of things that they test
right,
for.
And just like sports organizations are calling it a day on that, which is good. It's because.
This is a huge point right here. The measure would authorize physicians within the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, so the VA hospital, to issue recommendations for medical cannabis to veterans.
Yeah, that's huge.
And that's a huge point right there.
We have a whole show about that. We have a whole show.
We do.
Talk to Steve Elmore about it. Check it out. It's very enlightening.
It is that's very important. We got to take care of the vets, the people that have secured our freedom,
especially the vets.
And man, getting them their medicinal cannabis is extremely important, and writing it into a federal law would
vets are a very,
solidify
very big
that.
Part of our patient base is vets for sure. Like it's been like 100% life saving for people, especially vets. So. Yeah, that's a big deal for the federal government to acknowledge that and to allow the VA to do one thing right in its fucking godforsaken life and help out our vets, and that's fucking very important. There's no better way to think of it than giving them weed and that they want and can also reap the benefits of the VA. So get your shit together and do that. It should be done already. It's fucking insane that it's not. It just makes me. This just makes me mad that this is not a thing yet.
It's infuriating for sure.
So that's a potential good thing. There's kind of this is something that is important. They are replacing the term in their federal studies. They're gonna put a government accountability office, which sounds horrible, but it's actually not so bad. And they're going to do studies on weed and societal effects, medicinal effects, so on and so forth. So it's just going to be like our show, it's going to be like a deep dive into what weed is for the world, because that has not been documented officially, and it's been all hearsay and stuff like us talking. So this could be cool, because they are saying that they're going to replace the term marijuana and marijuana with cannabis through the marijuana with an H, through the U.S. code and regulations, which I think is pretty cool, because even reading Marijuana Moment right now, I do feel uncomfortable saying marijuana lately. I don't want to say it anymore. I don't think we should be saying it anymore. It's antiquated and it's wrong. So let's stop saying it. Even that little accent I did was fucked up. Let's not do it anymore. Let's not use the term. So the only way to do that is to change the language that we talk about weed officially. So I actually think that's pretty rad.
It is, and if they want to change it federally, change the language federally, that's huge.
That's a huge step. And I've been saying it for a while now. Because I've been hearing people say it, and I've been reading about it, and we know the history now. And once you know something, you should acknowledge it. And just because it's something is what we're used to, this is the whole point of living now. This is the 21st century. This is being woke. This is learning and understanding things that are changing. And weed is one of those things. We refer to things differently now, and let's fucking do that. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And there's just more research that they're saying they can do. All sorts of departments are going to do research. They're going to try to figure out what marijuana impaired driving means. I just said marijuana again. What weed impaired driving means. I think they're acknowledging that they don't know what it means. So they're trying to figure out what the standard is and how to measure it. So that is also a plus. I think they're not claiming to go into it being like, we're going to tackle this and we're going to make sure nobody drives on weed, because they know that that's insane. And
it has to make sense.
Some
sensible,
people need to level.
Use.
Some people need to take their focus drops before they get in the fucking car. That is not, in my opinion, and for me and my body, being impaired. For you and your body, you may have a reaction to weed that I don't know about. So these are things that need to be looked at individually and not just, oh, I'm fine on it, I'm not. Like, it's two different things. So that is something that I'm hoping that this is going to work towards. Yeah.
This is interesting too, that the bill would establish a federal standard to make it so that 21 and older can purchase for adult use, but each state could sort of maintain the age restrictions. But in order to reduce illegal diversion, the legislation would cap cannabis sales, stating that adults could only buy up to 10 ounces at a time. That's a lot.
10 ounces?
10 ounces at a time.
I fucking wish.
That's just under a pound.
I've been buying like an ounce a day for how long, paying out my butthole for it. That's how many dispensaries are going to do like a 10 ounce deal?
A 10 ounce special 10 ounce deal.
10 for like 10 or
buy
something.
9, get that 10th ounce for free.
Or for 1 cent.
1 cent.
That's a lot. Maybe they're also acknowledging that, 1 ounce is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Or 10 ounces isn't like enough to make a profit off of on the black market.
People just make these numbers up. Like 10 ounces is a lot, but
I feel like they're like
at a time, but they want to give them as much as they want. There's no limit on how many bottles of whiskey you can buy a day. Because
I think their like initial fear was like turning it over on the black market, which is insane because ain't nobody gonna spend that much money on legal weed just to flip it on the black market. So I think they realize that is not what is.
That's not what's happening.
Because that's stupid way of thinking. That's that's what I feel like. I could be completely off on that.
Vape products that contained added natural or artificial flavors would be banned under this proposal.
Oh,
really? Could they only be cannabis derived terps within?
Yeah, like what about something like Jeter's? Doesn't Jeter's flavor there? Or no, they're probably cannabis derived. I don't know, honestly.
I don't know. I
feel like there's a lot of I feel like there's a lot of natural flavoring.
It is. There's like a question. That's a question we ask all the time. Like, how are your flavors derived? Are they derived from cannabis? Is it
right? That's the
an actual like whole plant terpene profile, or is it like a formulation of natural terps?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
or possibly natural and artificial terps.
That's like the least of my worries with this shit. Like
the
artificial terps.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're testing and all that shit, like I'm sure, you know what I mean? Like something that's like anything like a natural flavor, you know what I mean? Like we all know what natural flavoring is, and it's not something you want to think about. But like I'll eat a Gusher all day long, you know what I mean?
Contains natural and artificial flavors.
Because there's a standard of federal level that you need to pass. So if you can pass that, then you're fine. So testing is as a whole other thing. But this is promising. It's positive. We'll talk about more negatives during the Huff and Puff. But I do feel good about those little details. They do make me happy. The changing the name thing kind of like put me over the happiness edge, because I do feel like that's that's changing how we look at it. You know what I mean? That's literally changing. We're literally progressing in how we talk about weed. And, you know, the term marijuana is very antiquated in very many ways. And if you don't know, you should look it up. We talk about it a whole bunch, but it's interesting. And marijuana moment is where we found all of this. You can find the full text of the bill anywhere probably, but marijuana moment is where we found it. It's very interesting. Keep an eye on it. We will obviously report on it every single day of your life. And we will be taking a break. Yeah, we'll be taking a break and then we'll be right back.
The nerds will be right back. It's never too late to join the sesh.
Pass that here.
That was lovely.
Oh,
it's
yes.
the Cool Nerd Weed Show. That's Tess.
And that's Sasha.
We just played Modern Original.
Yes.
Those are the homies.
The homies.
We love them. And we love the Mowglis. That was with the Mowglis. That was a track called I'm an Alien. I love them. We should have them on again.
We will. They're coming on for sure.
They're the best. They're the best. Follow us on Twitter at Cool Nerd Weed. Woo, it was very hot there. Follow us on Twitter at Cool Nerd Weed. Follow us on Instagram and everywhere else in the United States of America at Cool Nerd Weed Show. TS had this idea that I was really all for. I only look back in retrospect. I'm like, well, that was a random idea, but I didn't question it, did I?
You did not. You support me in
Always,
on
all your endeavors.
Ideas. Yes.
That's the show. That's what this is, and it's been pretty great. It's been the best time of my life.
You green light all my ideas.
They're
all
always
the time.
green lit. I don't even need a full pitch. Well, it reminded me of Stick Stickly, which is if you're of the ages of 28, it's probably pretty young, 29 maybe, through 38, you remember Stick Stickly on Nickelodeon, which was a popsicle stick that had a face on it. This is an upgrade. And it's a raw cone wood with
repurposed
with our faces on it. And
Ooh, I'm an alien.
I support it
Ooh, I'm an alien.
from our stickers that I also love. And yeah, that's really all there is to say about that, I guess. Yeah, and it's pretty great.
If you want to see all of our antics, you can, after you've downloaded the show on all your favorite podcast places, you can see us on YouTube.
On the YouTubes. Yes, we're just creating. We're just creating like a motherfucker on all of the platforms because, you know, it's what we like to do. And it's funsies. Check it out. We like to cook. We like to be on sticks.
We like to smoke.
That's really the main thing. I'm pretty high.
What are we smoking?
Oh, man. Well, in the beginning of the show, I don't think I could go over it. We don't have enough time. I went over all the THC I ingested within the last 2 hours. Spoiler alert, it was a lot. So it's kind of all hitting me a little bit. Do you feel anything from that canna butter? Can
I
you
think
tell?
so. I
kind of do too. It's a different high because I took a capsule, a Care by Design capsule, and then I had some canna butter, and you can just tell the different feelings.
As my meal starts to digest, I feel like I'm getting
something
more relaxed.
Yeah, and my capsules,
chilling.
and we smoked that one. Was it Wonder Bread?
We smoked the Wonder Bread orange banana. We do have a Kushco joint roll too.
We do. We'll save that for the Huff and Puff.
Okay.
But we can smoke this in the meantime. It's a hodgepodge of
just like whatever is on the rolling
whatever's
tray?
on the tray and Kushco. It's
well, that can't be that bad.
Yeah, it's probably like some random sativa, a lot of that Maven.
Oh, the peach cream gelato.
Yeah, the peach creme.
All that whole drop is already gone.
It was good.
All the Maven new.
It's high
Maven
THC,
strains.
man. It's
All the Mavens have been testing really high.
They have. That's like their thing. That's when I was during the pandemic. I would always just get Maven because you couldn't smell it, but it tested high.
They've dialed in their grow for sure.
Much. It does have a specific smell though. I was trying to say I don't know what it is, but high testing weed smells very specific to me. I don't know if it's like my weird COVID nose or what, but like I have like a.
It's probably whatever nutrients they're using to boost
it's gotta
it.
be.
To boost it.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
You're right. Why don't I ever think of that? I never think of nutrients.
Whatever.
I don't grow weed.
The grow
yeah.
medium and.
That's got to be what it is. 100%. I wonder what it is. Maybe what are you growing weed with? Will you tell us? Maybe. What do you think it is? A new
honestly,
up nutrient.
It's something new that's like beyond my growing experience for sure. Like something that can.
I wonder what it is.
Pass testing, but also like is very much a booster.
And it's working. I mean, this shit is real. Shit is real. So this is actually pretty cool. This is okay. What to look for now? The green wave, right? It is just washing over us. We are here. It's happening. Weed is everywhere. Although it's nowhere, like I still go to places here in Los Angeles, USA, and there are people who are very confounded by weed because they had one bad experience, or they knew somebody who had a bad experience, or it's just not something that they've ever felt interested in doing, or they're from another part of the world where it was highly illegal, they couldn't have access to it, so on and so forth. So it's a new world for us even. And, for you, you just said something was beyond your expertise, and you're kind of an expert. I'm a baby expert, but you're an expert. So shit is evolving and
constantly.
And that's the cool thing about weed. And that's the thing that we love the most about it. And that's why we do a show each week that we love to do. And that it's our favorite part of it. It's our favorite part is that it's evolving and that we get to fucking talk about it. Thank you, Adobe Radio. I haven't thanked you yet the show, but that we get to talk about it. It's pretty fucking great. It's our favorite thing. But it's overwhelming for those who have no idea how beneficial it is or have no idea what it is. It's not what you snuck in, your basement when
it's totally
you were a
different,
kid.
yeah.
It's something different than when I was a kid. It's very different. So we're going to talk about what to look for. There's an article. How'd you find this article? Did you?
It's in the Fresh Toast.
The Fresh Toast.
The Fresh Toast. I don't know. I was just looking for cannabis stories, and this popped up, and it seemed interesting. Actually, I think it came through on one on Instagram. I ripped it from Instagram.
Nice.
Maybe the Blacklist.
Big ups.
I don't know. I feel like the Blacklist is
try to
this
give
was
credit.
Up there. Yeah.
But yeah, this is kind of neat. I like this article. So here's what to look for as a consumer. And this is also, we'll weigh in on these and maybe add a couple that, we only have a few minutes, but we'll add a couple things to what we think. So yeah, like our humble opinion, this article's humble opinion, but we're right all the time. So so the first thing is, and we always say this, is check the dates on your packaging. In pretty much every dispensary, every place in the United States, there is packaging. That's like the number one thing on every fucking bill.
There's a harvest date.
There's a QR code on most of them.
A packaging date, a QR code. Yeah,
almost every single one has one.
The QR should take you to the test results.
Right to the test results. There will be a metric compliant created label that has some more info on it, the price, you know what I mean? There's a lot of information. Each state has something different as well. But the bare minimum are the cultivation dates. You want to see that.
The cultivation, packaging.
You want to know when your shit was harvested. It's good to know, and I think it's a thing we should reap the benefits of, is that we get to know that, because I'm always curious. And testing results, and the whole sheer bare minimum of packaging is that it went through testing and that there's no poison in it. So look for testing and look for reliable testing. This goes for all CBD, all Delta 9s and 8s and 10s, every single thing that you do in the cannabis world that involves a cannabis leaf. Look for testing, look for sources, look for cultivation. Look for what's in it. There could be CBN in your weed and you don't want to fall asleep. But you will. And then you'll be like, oh man, that weed put me to sleep. I don't want to smoke weed anymore. But you didn't know that you look for something. So just make sure you're looking. Keep those eyes peeled, which is a gross saying, but it's a
keep those bananas peeled.
Yes.
We talk about this from time to time, is that you should not necessarily be looking for the highest THC content.
Right. This is
so everybody
debatable.
wants those 30 pluses these days. and it
Yes.
might not necessarily be beneficial for you.
No.
Might not be your thing.
No.
But there's other factors at play in determining what gets you the effects of the high.
Right, such as terpenes,
Yes.
which is the next thing. You can and are encouraged to ask your bud tender about your terpenes. We are very educated in that sense. Even before this was a thing, when I first started at the dispensary, we learned about this.
We did.
We had the wheel.
We were a little ahead of the curve over there.
This was something that we had been really into. A lot of brands are into it. It's not hype. It's true.
Absolutely.
It's all true. So ask about the terpenes in your weed. Ask your bud tender. They should absolutely know what the fuck they're talking about, or else they shouldn't be working.
A lot of the bigger brands have them listed in order,
do.
and the dominant terpenes are on their packaging.
Wonder Bread, you can look it all up. It's like all right there, right in your
THC
faces.
design.
Yeah.
Cannabiotics.
Well, not all, but a lot of them. This also says research the brands. Yes, indeed, do that, please. You have the information highway at your fingertips. You should be looking stuff up. Find it out. Everything's different everywhere as well. Like I've found when I went to Vegas, like, you know, other than Khalifa, like I don't know what those places are. So I researched a lot, and you know, I found out stuff while I was in the 80-mile long line. You'll have time. Trust me. Trust me, you'll have time to research.
I heard Vegas weed is not great.
The Khalifa was good.
Well, Khalifa. I mean, you can't go wrong with Khalifa.
Other than that, it was not
lackluster.
to write home about. No.
But yeah, you know, grown in Humboldt locally.
Yeah.
Outdoors,
Always
Mendocino.
always a plus. Always a plus. There's always information on the stuff. There's reviews everywhere.
Organic.
You never know, we could have reviewed it.
Non-organic.
Indoor, outdoor.
Greenhouse.
Brands that have indoor, brands that don't have outdoor, or brands that don't have outdoor, because a lot of them don't. Some do. There's important stuff. And again, your bud tender will know, but you look for that. Look for a reputable brand. They exist. And also some brands will white label. Some growers will white label. Beware of the white label.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we always say, not to be a dick. I don't also know the practice of a lot of dispensaries, but I will say most experiences with white label has not been the best. Just my opinion.
Yeah. There's some very ginormous grows on the Central Coast that are responsible for many, many brands. They just it's all the same flower. Just you pay more depending on your packaging.
It's just the generic, version of weed, which I don't know that you want to be putting in you. Okay, so last and final, we only have like 1 more minute, is if you can, look at it. COVID is weird and dispensary experience is different, and we do have a dispensary etiquette that we should probably update, but like you can't look at it with your face without something like in the middle of you. And if you go to a dispensary where they're showing it to you in jars, I 100% guarantee that they are not compliant. So they are going to be in, and there are like sample jars. There used to be, like, you used to be able to go to Cookies and they would show you a little sample jar that you can look at with your face without the glass in between it. But with COVID, that's rough.
Oh, yeah,
you can't put your nose in stuff.
You can't smell anything anymore.
So don't be mad if you do go to a dispensary and they show it to you in a display case, in a weird modern display looking case. If you can see it, look at it for sure. It's weird because I know what goes into making displays, and like that weed is different than the weed that you're selling for the most part, but it gives you the general idea. So if you can see what it looks like, always see what your weed looks like. This is general practice,
Structure, bud structure, color, you can tell if it's
you can see the amount of THC that's on it by looking at it. You can see the amount of integrity that like the weed is by looking at it. You can see a lot of things.
The frosty, sparkly,
orangey,
oranges, greens, purples, blue hues,
all that stuff, all that good stuff that goes into weed. Weed is a very sensory experience. So even though there's limits on what you can experience nowadays, try to get the most out of it. And that is pretty much it. Would you add anything else?
No, I think it's pretty thorough.
Pretty thorough. Yeah, if we can think of anything else, we will mention it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's kind of what to look for, I would say. Ask your bud tender what, if you're not looking to be knocked on your buns, ask for a low THC. Ain't no shame in it.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Please. I mean, there's so many.
Some
like,
nice outdoor
ask for
organic.
a dog walker. I used to be so like bummed about dog walkers. I am no longer bummed about dog walkers. They're the perfect amount
It's the
for
perfect size.
the casual weed smoker. And fucking get that shit. If you can get a good one, if there's a company that makes a good one, I will appoint you to it.
People always laugh when I say dog walker.
I love it.
I'm like,
I used to be like, nah, but like now I'm like,
it's perfect.
it's perfect. It's like
Perfect
literally
size.
when I walk the dogs. Like
Walking
I
the
used to walk
dog.
the dogs in New York, and I would have a little mini joint. Like that's what you do. It's a dog walker. Son of a bitch. No, it's good stuff. We are gonna take a quick break, and then we will be back with the final huff and puff. It's good times until we're all curmudgeonly. We'll be right back.
The final Huff and Puff with TS and Sasha.
Yeah, it's been a huff and puff with TS and Sasha, just like the thing said. And that's TS.
And that's Sasha.
And we are huffing and we are puffing. We're huffing on Kushco. Kushco
Here you go. Oh, yeah.
is what we're huffing and puffing on.
Got that.
Yeah,
Kushco.
Kushco. You just have access to Kushco.
Finally.
Good times. Yeah. It's been a long time since you have been in the same dispensary as Kushco, I reckon.
It has been. It's good to be back.
Kushco's the best.
Yeah,
We
thanks.
love Kushco.
Thanks, Kushco.
We love you forever. Forever. You are the king.
Never let me down.
No, literally ever. They're the best. So something that's not the best is, the legalization of weed, because we want it to happen the best way it possibly can. But of course it's not going to because, well, no, I'm being an asshole. We were just very positive before. Everything is great and going in the best direction. However, the bill that was from Chuckie Shumes that went before, whoever the fuck it went before, it has a lot of good stuff, but it also is a little bit, and they want feedback. So here's your feedback, good buddy.
Here's the time.
Yeah,
Now is the time.
everything is great. You're doing fantastic. What we don't like is, a couple things. A of all is the tax, right?
Oh, yeah.
The tax issue.
It's a gradual federal tax rate would be imposed on cannabis sales starting at 10% for the first year after the bill's enactment, and then for the first year and the next calendar year, then it would increase annually, rising to 15%, then to 20%, and then to 25%. And then in the fifth year of federal legalization the tax would be per ounce or per milligram of THC, amount determined by the Secretary of Treasury, equal to 25% of the prevailing price of cannabis sold in the United States in the prior year.
Jesus. Oh my God.
So
That's...
I think if the Fed adds another 25% onto the already, just for, we're in
I was
Los
just going to say,
Angeles.
is it on top of the already fucking 32% that we pay here?
I believe it's on top.
No fucking way. It's going to be like
Because
60% in taxes. Shut your
They're
mouth.
gonna have to figure.
Shut up.
They're gonna have
can't.
to figure that out.
No. No.
I think that it's.
Do they want a black market? Is that what they're looking for?
The government would create an even bigger black market if you did this.
For Christ's sakes. See, this is okay. This is why because I do feel like I'm going to look back at the show in retrospect and be like, man, I was kind of a poopy pants in the beginning of the show about the bill that turns out to be mostly positive. Because it is. The fact that we're talking about this is wonderful. But then then you tell me this.
Yeah, this is
like
outrageous.
This puts a big cloud over it for me, because just on a consumer level, let alone like, does it say anything about like permits and stuff? I feel like I see something here. It's mostly related to taxes,
It's mostly taxes. There's some things about permits in here also.
Because that is also a big thing, is how unaffordable it is to. They mention a lot of stuff about equity and grants, but I'm curious how much it actually is, because when you break it down in LA, that's been a big problem, is
It's
actually getting your business in, let alone getting it out to consumers.
It's hard for somebody who's been already a victim of the war on drugs to actually have the means to actually get permits and processing.
So now you have to like worry about like all the taxes, and then on a consumer level, just like paying all that money is, I mean, that's hard to imagine.
It's really insane.
That's hard to imagine doing that. That's not good.
It's very, very.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say.
Swallow,
because I don't like it, and I can't pretend that I like it. So I don't know. Maybe I'm an asshole, but I just feel like that's prohibitive.
There was like one more thing that's really like. The federal agencies that would be responsible for cannabis would be the DEA, the FDA, the ATF, and then there's another like alcohol tobacco organization that would also be involved in the overseeing of the regulations.
That's a lot of organizations.
It's a lot
for one measly fucking source of commerce.
It's a lot of oversight.
It's a lot of oversight.
It's a lot of government red tape.
A lot for something that just. Oh God! For something that's good and something that needs to be taken care of and looked at and studied and figured out and consumed. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks. Hopefully that part of the bill will be figured out. I don't know.
It's up for interpretation. So now's your time to write your local.
Yeah, they want feedback. They
want feedback. So let's give them some feedback.
And the nerds don't like that part. We like the other parts, though. I'm sorry I was a pooping fans about the other parts. In comparison to this, the other parts are fucking golden.
Chuck Schumer, you're welcome to come on the show anytime.
Chuckie Shumes? Yeah.
Anytime.
Yeah. We'd love to have you on. From the New York State.
having my Chris Cuomo moment. I love you, brother. Well, you're welcome on. Chuck Schumer, you're welcome on
here anytime.
Anytime.
Oh, man. We
like
Cuomo
family
so much. We do. That's our fucking guilty pleasures, Cuomo. I love him. We do. The TV guy. Not, who'd you say the other day? The Cuomo that you thought it was? Mario Cuomo.
Not Mario.
Not Mario Cuomo.
Mario.
Not the guy the bridge or the tunnel's named after him. All right, this was fun. Yeah, you suck taxes, but hopefully that'll be figured out. The show is good. I had a good time. Hope you had a good time. Follow us on Twitter at Cool Nerd Weed and everywhere else at Cool Nerd Weed Show. That's how I sign off on my show in the mornings. I always say I hope everybody had a good time. Because I do. Because I had a good time. I hope you had a good time too. It's important that you share this experience with me. Thank you, Adobe, and
don't panic.
It's organic.
Yeah. We want to thank you so much for being a beautiful audience. Thank you very much. We'll be back real soon. Y'all take care and remember, unity forever, please.